Hey, what's up, guys? Today's blog post that you could read down below features our Facebook fan friend Keith Edwards. Here you'll see a picture of him, a before and after picture. I found this picture on my Facebook fan page wall where he shared it with me, letting us know about his tremendous success in fitness over the past several months or year. Obviously, a transformation that's worth noting. If you notice in the very first picture, he looks like one type of guy, but in the second picture, he's almost unrecognizable. You know, it almost looks like two totally different people. I'm not just talking about the weight loss, but I'm also referring to the glow. The look on his face, his skin even looks different. Of course, he's smiling in the second one, but you can even see the smile in his eyes. What we're seeing is literally a entire personal transformation. And this is just my judgment based on the picture, obviously. But pictures are worth 1,000 words, and for good reason. Not much needs to be said. If you look at picture A and picture B, you realize this man has done tremendous work on himself and is obviously a stronger version of himself. So it got me thinking, and the question posed today and what I sort of describe and talk about in the blog post down below revolves around how you look and what it says about your character. Now, of course, people are going to judge us regardless. People are always judging us. They're judging us on our physical appearance. They're judging us on how they feel about us based on physical appearance. Now, so a lot of the times, the way someone feels about you, about the way you look, is very much theirs. So we can't be completely tangled up in the way someone perceives us, because we all have on our own glasses that we see the world. What's beautiful to one person is ugly to another. So we can never really base our self-esteem or our own personal self-judgment on other people's judgment of us. But what we can do is change the way that we feel about ourselves, about the way we look when we look in the mirror. And what really gets transferred far more than the visual depiction of a person is feelings. Feelings is really how we communicate. I've once said that I've 1,000 times quoted Ralph Waldo Emerson. In one phrase he says, what you are speaks so loud that I can't hear a word you're saying. Well, in the same way, the way you feel about yourself, the way you carry yourself, what you think about yourself exudes, it spills forth, it radiates from you far more than what you say or even what clothing you're wearing. I've met people who are severely overweight, but they exude confidence and joy and pleasure about life, and they're pleasurable to be around, so they're nice people to hang out with. And then there's also obviously other people who would physically take on the imagery of what the world calls beautiful, but in their presence you just feel a little icky and disconnected. So when I refer to how you look, I'm referring to looks as an extension of how you feel. And you know that this is true. You know that you are going to look how you feel, and of course how you feel is reflected in the responses of other people. How you feel about yourself is often reflected in the responses of other people. Not 100%, like I said, everybody has on their own goggles and filters, generally speaking. And there are ways that we can adjust how we feel. One of the things I think about with regard to the way we look and feel is when I was a kid, I used to put on a cape. I remember putting on a cape that I got. I think I got it at the circus. Went to the circus and they were giving out capes, and I bought a sword, a long Barnum and Bailey sword. And I remember putting on this costume, and I remember holding this sword. I remember grabbing my sword and rolling down on the ground, jumping off the stairs, attacking my dog. Not really, but, you know, playing with him with my sword, and then putting it in my back, walking around the house. Of course, I'm about 6 years old, but I'm feeling like a freaking hero. I'm feeling like Superman. I'm feeling like a warrior, and I'm behaving that way. Now, when we're children, and adults see us doing that stuff, they either entertain us, like I do with my kids. When Benjamin is acting like a little warrior, I play along with him. Or we laugh and giggle and say, oh, kids, they're just pretending. But then we grow up, and we wear clothing. We take on a physical form based on the activities and the diet that we engage in. And then we look in the mirror, and we personally judge who shows up in that mirror. And it has a tremendous impact on how we feel about ourselves. Wearing a cape and carrying a sword makes you feel like a freaking Superman. Being overweight, having bags under your eyes, having yellow teeth, bad breath, whatever it is that is a result of you not taking good care of yourself or not really having a self-esteem that is congruent with self-growth and taking care and self-love, shows up in the mirror, is expressed by your feelings about yourself, and like a virus is spread to other people. We are not separate. Our feelings about ourselves, the way we look, although we can say, oh, it doesn't matter what anybody else says or does, is intrinsically linked. We're energetically, psychologically, physiologically linked to other people. We cannot separate other people's experiences of us from the way we experience the world. If you study interpersonal neurobiology, which is a branch of attachment theory psychology, you learn that children learn to develop their sense of self-worth and their feelings about safety, security, or threat and fear in the world based on the look on their mother's face. If the child comes into the world unable to judge, unable to speak, unable to understand words or imagery or forms, right? Kids aren't judging you by your clothing. Kids aren't judging you by how much you weigh. When I say kid, I mean infant. Infants immediately mirror and absorb the look on their mother's face. Is it a look of distress? Is there famine and war? Is there turmoil in the family? It shows up on your face. The woman's face is presented to the child and absorbed by the child, and the child takes on the feelings of distress. Or is it a wide open, exciting, happy, joyful, loving face? And does the baby receive that on a regular basis? Or is this a worried, fearful, low self-esteem, low confident, unstable look on the mother's face? And how does that affect the psychology and the physiology of the child? So of course, today I'm talking in circles, and I'm not really making any statements here. In fact, I'm kind of opening this up to conversation. It has been my experience, my personal experience, even as an adult. You see this? Look, I've been wearing earrings lately. I understand that the way I look, the way I dress, the way I present myself is going to have a tremendous impact on how I feel about myself, which ultimately determines how I project myself. And the world is my mirror, so if I'm being ugly, I'm going to get ugly. If I feel ugly, I'm going to get ugly. You see? So I'm constantly aware of how I feel about myself and how I'm carrying myself. Everything from your posture to the clothing you wear says something about the way you feel about yourself and gives other people permission to judge you accordingly. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Talk to you tomorrow.